Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is Nick Miller and I am joined by my best good buddy. Just saw him in person, actually, Mr. Jonathan Emmanuel Bunn. That's not your middle name, but that was what came to my mind. What is up, my dude?
Dude, we did just see each other. We were in Hottsdale. That's what I'm calling it now. Hottsdale, Arizona.
Even though it wasn't Hottsdale when we were there. It was Jacket Weathersdale.
Well, it was hot because we were there bringing the fire.
Yes,
we had a great time together at our Mastermind retreat. If you've been on our Instagram page or, I don't know, you've probably seen some stuff about Mastermind. But we did the retreat in Arizona. I actually hopped on a plane after it was over and went to Atlanta, did a wedding up in North Georgia, got home, and now here we are recording. And Nick, it is a big day because today is the official launch of the Mastermind 2025 program. It's the brand new Mastermind 25. We're going to talk all about what is new and all that stuff. But before that, Nick, what are your thoughts on what just happened in Hottsdale last week?
Well, Hottsdale, man, that's so good. John and I, after the first couple of retreats that we did and the first couple of masterminds, we're like, we need to maybe shift our focus a little bit in how we are present at the retreats and how we communicate with everyone and the time we spend and all that sort of stuff. And I would say that our last year's one that we did a year ago, that's last year, we were way more intentional. John and I felt really good about, the people that were there and how we connected and everything. And I will say that this year, I feel that times 10 or something. Like something has definitely happened over the last year. And I think we have finally figured out who it is that should be in this program, who it is that this really works for, and just John and I, getting more experienced in how we spend time at the retreat. And I just feel really excited, really gung-ho about it. And I'm excited to see this next class that's going to come in and how we're going to connect with them and continue to build those relationships further. So I'm feeling Hottsdale about it.
Yeah, I'm on cloud nine as well, because I think what you said is really important. We talk about it a lot on the podcast, and we talked about it a lot at the retreat of just like taking action and like taking steps. And our first few years of Mastermind was awesome. Hopefully, if you were in those, you loved it. We're not saying that they're not great, but we've adapted and grown and learned. And, I was telling a couple of the people there, I think I was telling Stanton Giles from Films by Stanton, he was like, what do you think about this retreat? And I was like, it's really awesome because the newness of doing retreats has kind of worn off. And I know what I'm doing at retreats. I'm not like, oh, this is my first retreat or oh, this is my second retreat. It was like our fourth big retreat after a fourth year of doing our program. And after like 2 years, really when we started Mastermind, it was like, we thought the main value was, just the education that we were going to bring, which we think is obviously a huge portion of it. But we didn't realize that wedding filmmakers are some of the coolest people. And we knew that, but like the community aspect of it, when people started to really gel and connect with each other and build those lifelong friendships and, those friends that they can bounce ideas off of, like we really changed the focus of, okay, these retreats don't have to be just all hype. These retreats can have room for, hey, everybody, it's Monday evening. We're done at 6:00. Go out to dinner with each other. Go to a bar. Go to a show. Hike a trail. Whatever. And leaving room for connection and community. And it allowed us, like I was telling Heather, it's like I had so many deep conversations with people. And every time we were at another thing, I sat down next to a new person I hadn't really talked to yet, and was able to have a 30-minute conversation. And, it helped me and it filled my cup and it hopefully helped them. And by the time the whole week was over, I had pretty much gotten to have a conversation with everybody that was there, at least a little bit of a conversation. And I didn't feel like I was just overwhelmed with, oh, what are we doing next? What do I have to do? And I could be really personal and present. And so I'm coming back from the retreat feeling like my cup is so full. And the best part about all of these things to me, Nick, is hearing people say what Mastermind did for them, and what it meant to them, and getting those hugs around our neck and saying, my business has changed. I've raised my prices. My films are better. Like, I didn't know if I should do this. It was the best decision. I've made lifelong friends. That kind of stuff really fuels us to be like, okay, this program is working. This program is needed in our industry. There's nothing like it. And community, everybody texts us or messages us, wow, you have taken the time to build a community that's like none other. These people love each other and care about each other, and we're watching in real time as they are getting better, making big changes, raising their prices. And so, yeah, I'm on cloud nine.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to do something a little atypical for podcasting. Okay. So if you're listening to this audio only, it might be a little different, but we are actually going to put our promo video in right here from our retreat from last week. We're going to put it in right here in this podcast so that you can there's some testimonials in there, but you can see the good time if you're watching this on YouTube. And so I'm going to put that in there. Our friend Aaron over at Two Arrow Films put this edit together. He did an incredible job. It was fun. It was informational. It just, I don't know, keeps me on that cloud nine. So we are going to do that right now.
Our experience at Mastermind has been awesome. Just the confidence that it's helped us build in our brand has been unbelievable for us.
If you want to learn a lot of new things and you want to learn from a lot of different people and get connected in the industry, then Mastermind's a really good fit.
I have gained so much from this, especially from the community aspect. You get to meet all these creatives that they just inspire you and they teach you and they become your friends. So it's a pleasure to be here.
If you're on the fence about wanting to join Mastermind, being a wedding filmmaker, you don't really have a whole lot of community with other wedding professionals or wedding filmmakers. And this is a way to have a community that you can lean on, ask questions whenever you want, and just grow a community, grow friendships that are like just genuine people doing the same thing as you, trying to build you up as you're building them up. So I would say definitely do it.
If you are a wedding filmmaker who's been in the game for a few years and you're kind of in a funk, you're kind of stuck, because that's where I was. And I can now say I'm out of the funk. And for the rest of my career, I will have Mastermind to attribute to my success.
I've come alive, hands up, rocking out, headbang, going out of my mind. Coming hot, going down, picking up, I leave a crater when I drop, see it from a bird's eye. I'm ready to chase, no more nights to slow, pick up the pace, I race everywhere I go. I am in control, dialed all the way up, volume to the maximum. Ha! Now get ready, ready for the machete. I can be a sweet honey, but I get down in the dirt, I'm a wild little bunny. Ha! You won't stop me!
So, if you listen to that on the podcast listening only app, I encourage you to head over to the YouTube channel and check that out. There was one kind of quote in there, one person that spoke, and that was Jessie Bigler. She runs Jessie Ray Films in Canada. She's Canadian, very nice girl. Not surprising, being from Canada and stuff. But there were a couple of things that she said and a couple of things that I wanted to pass on to you. One of them is she said, I don't mean to be dramatic or anything, but Mastermind actually changed my life and my business. And that's the kind of stuff that John and I are just saying, like, really? Seriously? Like, it's incredible to hear that. And then she also said, and it was in this video, I will have Mastermind to attribute to my success in the future. In other words, because of this program, because of going through this, she can see herself becoming very successful. And this was the zenith. Well, that's the top. This was the thing that really helped her get there, which is so incredible. Mao, who was our Spirit of Mastermind winner this year, and that's an award that we give away to the person that we think just embodies what Mastermind is to us. Fun to be around, helpful, likes to be around people, likes to help people, just a very positive person. And the thing that he said is that my experience with Mastermind has been amazing. It's been life-changing in many ways. And John and I can sit here and talk about all of these things till we're blue in the face, but because we're the ones selling the thing, I know that people are going to be skeptical. Like that's just how it is. And so we want you to hear from people that have gone through our program. And if you're interested in hearing more what people have to say, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/mastermind. And there are lots of different reviews and testimonials and video, both video and written, that you can just hear what it is that people had to say about it.
Mm-hmm. And I had so many conversations with different people. I remember Salt and Pine Films, Jesse and Pal, their films are insane. Like, they're so good. And, it's like, do you guys need this program? They could be fine without it. But as we were leaving the final night, Pal pulled me aside and was like, just so you know, this was way worth it. This was worth it more than we paid for it. This was so worth it. I've made lifelong friends, the community, the connections, the little things that they're tweaking in their business. So it is one of those things where, when you first get going with a new product or a new coaching thing or whatever we do here, people are skeptical, and I have to feel like I'm convincing people like this is worth it. Like, I don't just want your money. But then after 4 years of doing it, I walk into this year with a confidence that's like the right people that are ready to grow and ready to change their business and see the value in what we do are going to apply and sign up. And my job is to keep providing with you, Nick, an incredible community, obviously great curriculum, mentorship, guest speakers, all the things that we do. But we have just realized the value versus what the cost is just worth so much more than what you're paying for it. So we're coming in kind of just really confident that the right people will sign up for this because they've had time to kind of talk to people. And that would be my advice is if you're on the fence, find somebody that's done our mastermind program, especially this outgoing class. I mean, yes, other classes, but we changed a lot of stuff up since we started. We started, Nick, in 2021 with our first class. And it took a couple of years to kind of really, every year has been great in its own way. But last year, we went into the year with an exact curriculum. We knew every week what we were going to be talking about. We had a specific order. It was very organized, and it built from the beginning of the year talking about who you want to work with, who you want your brand to be, why you're doing this, all the way through how to attract those people to your brand using social media and your website and your branding and your ideal buyers, into how to shoot an actual wedding, walking through a wedding day, how to edit a wedding, how to capture audio, how to color grade, how to edit films, how to edit teasers, how to do story sessions, like walking through all these things in order. And by the end of the year, we were talking about how to use your incredible new edits that are aimed at your ideal buyers to then attract more of your ideal buyers, and re-looking at your business and saying, has that changed a little bit? Do I want to work with somebody, a different clientele? Do I know more about myself now? And you're cycling every year kind of upwards as you learn more about you. But if you're just randomly doing weddings because you're going to be overwhelmed, you're going to get burned out. And what we want for you is to be invigorated and get paid more than you thought, to do work you love more with people that you love. And this last year, we really, I feel like, nailed it when it comes to the curriculum. And we changed that so that it was very put together and organized, so there's no wasted time. I don't think that we just wasted time before, but it just felt like it really clicked. What did you think?
Yeah. The first couple of years specifically, John and I were kind of, because we were taking action and we were trying to make, do something and move forward. And so it was kind of like, oh, we did a presentation on Tuesday, and then the following Thursday we would talk, okay, what are we talking about next week? What are we doing? What's next? Like that kind of stuff. And so we really did it by the seat of our pants. And we were also, it was new, and we packed so much information into a meeting, right? That we quickly, and it was like in July of that first year, we had a whole lot left, and we're like where do we go from here? Because we felt like we had put so much into it. And so we learned, okay, maybe we can cut some of these some of this curriculum in half. Maybe we can kind of spread it out. Maybe we can kind of do a little bit more. And then last year, John spent a lot of time sitting down and saying, okay, week 1 is this, week 2 is this, and really outlined the entire year with the speakers that we had. He was very intentional with asking them what to say, but also when it was that they were speaking, so that we didn't have someone talk about sales whenever John and I are teaching, we're focusing more on editing. So it was like, we're going to have these speakers go in where it makes sense and slot them in that way. I think that this year it just went so much smoother and went so much better because you set out that plan, and we wrote the curriculum, and we put stuff together, and we poured the time into it. So now we can revisit that this following year and make tweaks and update it. But we have a really, really good foundation moving forward with the education part of the program.
And the big thing that we keep hearing from people is community. And if you've been to a wedding film type retreat before, wedding videography retreat, if you put a bunch of us in a room together, we know how to have a good time, and we can just be anywhere. I've said it, we could get a keg and go to a field in Chelsea, Oklahoma, just like all the people did when I was in high school, and you could just have a night and we would not get tired. But community was really important. And the way our mastermind works and has worked is there has been a Zoom call where me and Nick teach, and then we do a breakout session to where the members have a group of 5 or 6, and it's a little more small group talking about whatever content. We give them some prompts for some questions. And every single time we would do that, people would be like, I wish we had more time. I wish we had more time for community. And that's why, like, after year 1, we said, okay, let's do smaller bite-sized information and then give half the time for breakouts or Q&A or deep dives and things like that. And that really helped, getting the curriculum in order, getting our guest speakers in the right order, and then giving more time for community. But we learn and we grow, and we have so many new updates for 2025 as well. And so, we've done 4 full years of this. And if we're being honest, 2024 for a lot of us, including me, was really difficult. Even our people in our mastermind group said, thank you so much for being there for us this year, because we wouldn't know how we would have gotten through the peak of this bubble burst in 2024 for a lot of people. And it really, we are always looking at our mastermind and what we could do better and stuff. And because we had the curriculum really figured out, it allowed us to really analyze and say, how could we make the community better? How could we, what are we missing? Where are we missing things? And the big thing that we have learned, especially with the market being rough last year, is that people want this and need this. But for us to be able to pour the time into it as educators, it has to have a physical cost. There's a retreat that's awesome. And in the middle of last year, we really started workshopping what could we do to make this program equally valuable, at the same time a better bang for the buck. How can we get the cost of this down? Kind of like, you see televisions, the first iteration is like, well, it's this much, and it just costs this much to produce it. And after version 5, it's much less expensive. And so Nick and I have spent the better part of a year kind of retooling the entire program, what it's going to be. One of the huge things that we saw in Mastermind is that it's a year-long commitment, and that is a big, big chunk of time for people. We want results, and we want them now. And a year is great, but we really had to reconsider if a year was the right thing. And that's kind of one of the first big announcements that we're going to make about Mastermind 2025 is we're actually going to now, Nick, move them to a 6-month program instead of a 12-month program. Why don't you talk about why 6 months and kind of how that might work with the curriculum, the community, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, that is the big change, is us going from 12 months to 6 months. And I'm going to get in and kind of share why and how that's all going to work together. But before I do that, I want to mention our friends over at Wedding Post House. Wedding Post House is a culling service or an outsourcing service where you still get creative control. And what you can do, you film a wedding and you just want to get in and start editing, but your footage is unorganized. You have to go through and make selects and do all that stuff, sync up all of your project files and everything. What you can do is you can upload all of your stuff to Wedding Post House, and then you fill out a little bit of form, and then they will go through and they will cull your entire wedding, or they will make selects. And if it's usable footage at all, they will keep it. They will color code everything. So it's like, this is bride prep, this is groom prep, this is bridal party, whatever. They will sync your ceremonies. They will sync toasts, rehearsal dinner, all of that kind of stuff. And a new service that they have started a new service that they have added is doc edits. So they will not only sync your ceremony, but they will also make the multicam cuts. Same thing with your toasts. And I think they might actually do like FOMO style doc edits as well. So if you are interested in having Wedding Post House help you so that you can get into the creative edit faster, make sure you head over to howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing. And there you will find a link where you can sign up with Wedding Post House. So John, you just said we are shifting the Mastermind program from 12 months to 6 months. Every year, this is big news, and there would be some people like, well, I want a year. Like, one thing that John and I have noticed in the 4 years that we have done this is that in about whenever we start doing the teaching in, beginning of February or so, because we're watching it in January, it's about the July timeframe, about 6 months in, we have a major fall off in our meetings. And I'm not talking like 5 people less, it's like 50% less people are showing up at the weekly meetings. And John and I have been talking and having conversations with other people, and a big part of that, yes, it's summer and we know that people start getting busy and, all that kind of stuff, but also it's just a year is a long time to do something and be committed to it. So we are taking our 12-month curriculum and putting it into 6. So the question is, how are you doing that? Is that going to be overwhelming to people? What's going to go on? Is this going to be, more of a time commitment or whatever? And so, John, I'm going to let you kind of share a little bit your vision, our vision for going, shortening the Mastermind program into a 6-month thing instead of 12.
Yeah, and I think it started with conversations that you and I have had over the last couple of years where we get into the summer months, like you said, and it's like people are busy. You're excited when you get going. 6 months in, 7 months in, 8 months in, like people kind of trail off and watch a little bit and come back. And we want it to be something that you can, you can see the finish line. You can do this. We want you to get the results. And one of the things mentioned is like, well, how do you do this curriculum in 6 months instead of 12? Well, we're not cutting the curriculum. What we're doing is retooling the way that we even present it. And so what's going to happen, typically every week, Nick and I get on live and we walk through a presentation, and then we take Q&A or break up into breakout rooms. The next week we'll kind of reiterate what we talked about last week, kind of get into the content and different things like that. And what we have had a hard time doing is getting people from all over the world to be available at the same time. Some people, their job changes during the year. Some people, they get overwhelmed with bookings and they can't do this time. And so what we're doing is we're actually going to be teaching the content and recording it live, and then presenting it every single week, a new session. So every Wednesday we'll drop a new session, and then you'll have until the following Tuesday to watch it. And the reason why we think this is awesome is because when we do our live call, where me and Nick are live on, literally there to answer your questions and talk with you, instead of only having like 15 minutes for Q&A or 15 minutes for breakouts, we're going to get into the call live. Everyone has had a week to watch it, to get their questions ready, and we're able to then get straight into going over a few bullet points and either breaking into groups, going into live Q&A. But a lot of times we'll get done with content and it's good content, and people are like, wait, I need time to just process this content so I know what questions to ask. I need to get myself ready for questions for the week. And so what that also allows us to do, because we're doing typically 20-minute or so lessons, 25 sometimes, is we're able to give you like a 40 or 45-minute video every week, which basically combines 2 lessons into one. And so as we know, like somewhere in that 40, 45-minute window of time is really an ideal learning time frame. You can listen to it, you can watch it, but then you can rewatch it before we even get to the live call, so that you get to pick on your time and you still get 2 lessons in one basically every single week, and more time for community. So it was, as I started pitching this idea to Nick, he was like, well, what about this? What about that? And then sooner than later, like, he likes to make sure there's, shoot holes in it. And I love that. I'll pick a big idea, and he's like, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? And we both got to a point where it was like, this is way better for everyone. We can make sure that we have the content exactly how we want it to be. We'll be able to show that to you and drip that out every single week. It's not overwhelming. It's only 6 months instead of 12. You're going to get the same content and results and more time for community. So Nick, what do you want to add about that? Because that's big. That's a huge change, but I think it's going to make way more time for us to connect on a personal level with people.
Yes, definitely more of a connection. And I think you might have misspoke how you said that in there. But what we're going to do is John and I are going to pre-record the education sessions, and then we are going to release those once a week. So those will not be live.
I was just saying, me and you are going to record those live with each other. It's not like a course. It's like you and me are walking through the presentation, making sure everything is correct, and then uploading it. So yes, it will be recorded live, not with you. People aren't going to be watching it, but me and Nick are producing a course.
I see what you were saying there. So the content will be dripped out, every Wednesday, and then the following Tuesday we will have our live call. And then another thing about that, whenever John and I, this last year, we did on every Tuesday, we did 2 classes, 2 sessions. And so sometimes we might go a little bit long, and then people wanted Q&A. And it was like, for John and I personally, we would start at 11 and we would be getting off calls at 12:45 or 1. And then we were starting another call in an hour. And then the same thing was kind of happening. So this also schedules more time for that communication and talking and community and stuff. And it helps us as well, space out our time and plan our time a little bit better. So it's a big win for, I think, everybody involved. I'm really, really excited. I love the community aspect again, because every time we do the breakout rooms or we have that stuff, people we want more time with that. We want more time. So anything we can do to, build that community earlier, that's what we want to do. And that's why, again, we're having these weekly meetings that are based to be, hey, here's a few questions, here's breakout rooms. Building that community is going to be so huge. The other thing with our guest speakers that we're having this year, and if you would like to see that full list, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/mastermind. You can scroll down and see that. We are asking specific people that we feel are experts in their field to talk about specific topics. And again, just like we did last year, where we're slotting them in at specific times while it will fit in with the curriculum as a whole, even though for those lessons, it's not necessarily John and I teaching those ones. So we are really excited about the people that we are going to have on speaking this year during the specific curriculum. And John, we're moving the retreat this year. We're doing it at a different time. We're doing it in a different place. I don't want to go to Hottsdale in July.
No. And I want to talk about the retreat. I also want to just echo what you're saying about the curriculum is going to be better. The guest speaker list is so intentional. The community is so intentional. In the last fourth pillar of what we do with Mastermind is what you're saying is this retreat. Nick and I cannot express to you how much this retreat is the best thing that we do. It is a life-changing week. I don't know what else to say. Like, I fully believe that people's lives are changed, friendships are built, and with it being a 6-month program, the program is going to be from basically February through the end of June, early July. And this summer, the plan currently, we're working with a planner and a venue and different things like that. The plan is July in Portland, Maine. We're going to go to Maine, way up in the Northeast. We're working with a killer planner to put some styled shoots together and changing up our retreat a bit. Instead of going around to different venues and different things like that, we're going to kind of have one headquarters, one space. We're actually looking at a few different places to where there's even rooms available, so you can rent a room there if you want or stay close, and everything kind of will happen in one spot. That's one thing that we realized is, like, we do a bunch of different styled shoots in different places in Arizona, which has been fun. But for us, it's just like, okay, that's over. We all want to hang out. Well, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? Well, the places we're looking at have, awesome access to the coast. And we have a lot of different fun things planned. And it's hard to officially announce something without knowing the exact number of people that we're going to be having. And so right now, the tentative plan is Portland, Maine, the week after the 4th of July, somewhere in there. We're going to make sure that that works with everybody. But the idea is we're going to spend 3 days in the same location, all getting better, having styled shoots, getting new headshots, having education, having parties, having drinks, having food, all the stuff, hang out between at the pool or down by the beach or all these different stuff. And it's something that you just don't want to miss out on. I don't know how else to say that. If you're like, ooh, should I do Mastermind? You probably should, first of all. But secondly, like, we have really dialed this in. This will be our 5th group. And just the planner that we're already working with has a vision for what we're needing and wanting out of shoots. Just bring in the party. We're having a ton of fun, and we want it to be something to where you can look forward to, you can write it off, all that kind of good stuff. Nick, what other things do you want to add about that, the retreat? Did I miss anything?
No, again, we are very intentional again about how we have placed Mastermind. And it's like, we're going to do all of the education stuff up front. We're going to do the meetings and the calls and all those kind of things. And then whenever we show up at the retreat, we know each other. We can start having conversations. Pods are something that happens within the group. And this is just a select 4, 5, 6, 10 people say, hey, we're all kind of in this same similar scenario in our business. Let's meet more than the group and just talk even more and go deeper. And those people that spend even more time together connecting, like this last year, there were a couple of houses that basically were like pods that say, hey, let's all go in on a house together and hang out together. It's the intangible things that really make the retreat, that make Mastermind so cool, that we can say, oh, the community's awesome and the relationships and all that sort of stuff. But it's really hard to explain what that looks like and what that is whenever you haven't experienced it or haven't been a part of it. And so, the retreat is a fun thing. It's an exciting thing. And I'm really excited to go to a place like Portland, Maine. I went to Maine in October a couple of years ago for a wedding, and I loved the area. Didn't spend time in Portland. We went up into like Acadia National Park area, but I'm so excited to go there. New location, new that. So, John, I'm excited about Mastermind, launching this again. Talking about the new class and who's going to be involved and all that sort of stuff. But there are probably a lot of people that are listening to this and thinking, yeah, well, is this a right fit for me? Like, should I be a part of Mastermind? And I think that John and I have really figured out, going in who is it for? And we were going to say it's for any filmmaker that wants to improve their business, wants to improve their filming, their shooting, their editing, just be a part of a community. But I think our ideal kind of avatar that we're like looking for, that it's going to help the most, are probably going to be people in their first, first 3, 1 to 3, 5 years of business kind of are the people that I think have really gravitated toward what we are doing here. It seemed like so many people, this last year was like, oh, this is my second year business. This is my third year business. This is my first year business. And they got so much out of it. But also, we have had people that have been in year 6, 7, 8 that have gotten a lot out of it. Maybe it's a little bit different, the things that they have gotten out of it, because they're like, well, I really know how to edit and I know how to shoot, but maybe the business side of things isn't where you're super strong. And so that might have been a clear as mud kind of explanation about who is for, because there was a wide range of people. But in our mind, those are the things that I am thinking about when it comes to who is this for. What do you have to add?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because of the 250 people, brands that have been through it at this point. I think so, somewhere in there. We've had people that are, I think of like Ashley and Jay, who are veterans that were part of it, or Jesse and Powell that, could teach us how to shoot and edit, and the magic of the curriculum is that we're going to walk through, this is my 19th season, which is crazy. We're going to walk through brick by brick to make sure you're not missing anything. Sometimes it'll feel like, oh, I know this, but it's a good reiteration. Sometimes it'll feel like, oh, I didn't even think about this. And for people like me that have been doing this a long time, if I were in Mastermind, I would be doing it so I could get that little nugget every month. So, oh, that helped me. Or, oh, that connection is somebody that is also awesome that was booked and now they're referring me to a planner that I've been wanting to work with, or whatever. And so, but like what you said, Nick, the people that, it's like drinking from a fire hose. If you're in your first few years of business, oh my gosh, you're going to save years of time. So why it is a little clear as mud, like if you're in your first few years of business, absolutely. This is, if you've got a kind of a basic understanding, you're going to save years of time. If you're a little more on the veteran side of things, your reason for wanting to join might be different. I think about iHeart Creative. The girls are good friends, Maddie and Felicia out of Santa Barbara. Like, again, they've been on our podcast. Could teach. They have courses on Super 8. They know their stuff. And they were like, this was the best investment because we have all these new friends. We have all these new connections. We have, so people ask us all the time, who's it for? What we're doing with the year is we're literally walking through every step of a wedding video business, how to shoot, how to edit. We're putting experts in front of you. We're giving you a community of people to meet with each week, to, break off into your own pod groups if you want to do like all kinds of stuff where you're diving deep. And if you're a person that's like, I don't do well on my own, I need somebody to push me forward every week and give me that shot of, adrenaline, or that shot in the arm with my business. Like that is, again, clear as mud. But I think if you're listening to this and say, I need that, we're talking to you. And the big thing, one of the big reasons you mentioned this, Nick, is like with it being 6 months instead of 12 months, that is a lot less time on our part. It's a lot less, it's just a lot less energy to do this. It's half as much full, 6 months versus 12 months. There's still a ton of stuff we do. We do mentor sessions. We do film reviews in different packages. We have all these different things. But the big deal after 2024 is we wanted to make the price as good as it's ever been. We've had options all the way up to, starting $300-400 a month usually for what we've done for this. Up to $700 or $800 a month before for VIP options and things. This year, we really wanted to have options starting at $250 a month. And that's where we're starting this year. So you can do Mastermind starting at $250 a month. We have options that are more expensive than that get you a little bit more, but we wanted to make the price not be the thing that keeps you from growing your business and taking action steps. And the way it's going to work is you will apply to be part of it. And me and Nick and our team will be looking through your answers. We take those very seriously. We'll look through your answers. You don't have to have a perfect website. You don't have to have a perfect social media. Like most people that apply don't have that. We're looking for people that are ready for this information and ready for this community, aren't going to be a drag on the community. And so we're making sure that you're the right fit for this program. And we'll get you an answer back usually within about 12 hours on whether or not you've been accepted. And once you've been accepted, there will be a link. So we will have our Mastermind, our Mastermind Plus, and a VIP. Basically, the only difference is going to be more mentor sessions. We have a VIP event we're going to do in the spring. And those packages are going to start out, like I said, at $250 a month.
And you want to, some of you might be asking, why an application? Like, why can't I just, sign up, or why do we do it? Well, we want to make sure that you are actually serious about doing this. This isn't going to be kind of an intensive program, where you're watching 30 to 45 minutes of video each week, and then we have hour-long meetings, and then there's there's a commitment from your end as well, our end and your end, and we just want people that are gung-ho about it. We want people that are excited about it, and so we want people to take a step and whatever. Now, I don't know where you are in your business, but you might be thinking, oh, they'll never accept me. There have been people that I know thought that, and then we accepted them to be a part of the program. Our friend Elsa from this past year, she was like, I didn't even have a business when I applied. I mean, I had an Instagram, but I didn't have all the stuff, but I knew that this is where I wanted to go and we accepted her, and she was floored that happened because of her lack of experience. And so if there's, like John was saying, if there's something like your website is not up to snuff, or you don't feel like your films are any good, or whatever, that's what this program is designed to do, is to take you where you are and help you go forward. So if you are just interested in applying, or if you're interested in the program at all, just simply apply. That's what I will say. And you can do that right now over at howtofilmweddings.com/mastermind. Applications are open. John, how long are we keeping this open for? Application process?
At the max, maybe a week, maybe two, depending on the last couple times. It's been 7 or 8 days. It fills up, it kind of sells out. And I wanted to say something, if you don't mind. Okay, good. First of all, Elsa killed it this year. She had done a couple weddings already, but she won an award, the Sponge Award, because she soaked everything up, and her business is just killing. She's doing incredible things. So good job, Elsa. But I think about the people that are listening to our voice and the why behind Mastermind. And I'm great to pull back the curtain on why we do this. And it's because we love impacting people's lives. That's really what we're here for. Yes, we get a little chunk of money from every person that signs up for our time and efforts, just like everyone wants. It's not like we're going to retire off of this. This is something we believe in. This is something we love, and we will do if 10 people sign up or 50 people sign up, because we know the impact that it has. And who we're looking for are people that are ready to say, okay, I don't want to do this on my own. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about someone like Elsa out there that's like, man, I'm probably not good enough for this program, or I don't know, maybe next year. There's never a good or right time. The people that have had the most success are people who are like, I saw it, I'm doing it. I know I need to do it. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out. I don't know, I don't know how I'm going to figure the money out. I don't know how I'm going to figure the time out, but I'm just going to do it. And those people that have just taken those action steps, I've watched them now this is the 5th year, just watched people as they've continually knocked it out of the park in their business, in their shooting, in their editing, in their relationships, in their networking. And I'm out here saying, I know that there's a large audience for How to Film Weddings. And if you're just on the fence, it's not so that I can get your $250 a month, that's awesome or whatever. But what I care about is that hug that we're going to have at the retreat, when you're saying this was the line in the sand where I stopped doing wedding videography ish. I was doing it for real, or wedding photography ish. This is what I needed to push me over the hump in my business. And now future you is happy with current you. And so I get really passionate about it. I'll get down off the soapbox, but I just want you out there to take that step. If you hate it, if you hate Mastermind, if you join, and I haven't talked to Nick about this, but if you hate it, after a month, after 2 months, and you're like, this sucks, I hate it, you don't have to pay us anymore. Like, you can just go ahead.
Yeah. That you didn't need to talk to me about it because that's on the website right now. We have a 60-day guarantee because we know that, and even though we're shortening the program, we're not shortening the 60-day guarantee. So that's something we haven't talked about, but here we are, there we are. But really, if you, and what we mean by that is this isn't something that you sign up for. And then if you don't come to anything, you're not involved or anything like that. And then you're just like, after 2 months, you're like, I'm out. Like, we'll probably have some discussion about that. But what we want you to do, if you show up and you are involved and you are listening and you are an active member and you just like, this is not for me, like we'll let you out, let you off the hook, let you out of your contract so that you can just go and not be a part of Mastermind anymore. Like, we really believe that it is going to help people. And we have the proof that there are, a couple hundred people that have gone through this and they say that it is helpful and they have benefited from it and they have grown from it and they have learned from it. So again, if you are interested in Mastermind, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/mastermind. There you can read all the information about what it's like. You can hear testimonials from people that have been through the program. You can watch recap videos from our past few years. We have all of those there. And then another thing that we have, if you're like, what are we going to learn? What are we going to talk about? If you scroll all the way to the very bottom, you can actually see the curriculum that we have through over this 6-month period and what it is that we're going to be talking about and who's going to come on and who are the experts that you're going to be learning from and all of that stuff. So again, howtofilmweddings.com/mastermind if you would like more information about it. John, I don't have anything else. Do you have? You just raised your finger. You have raised your finger. So do it.
I have one thing. And the thing I want to say is thank you to Nick and for being like, this is so fun and so fulfilling. And Nick, I couldn't do it without you. And I'm so pumped to do a new year with you. I'm so pumped to meet all these new people. I'm just so excited to do How to Film Weddings with you, my best good buddy. We're both working so hard to get this going. And I just rarely stop and say, wow, we're working really hard to help people and it is making a change. And I just want the internet world to know that I appreciate Mr. Nick Miller. I already said it. You can't say it back. That's all the time that we have today.
Like this was the thing. The last couple of retreats, like the first 2 or 3, John always did this speech at the retreat, first. And if you're the second person, you're like, well, now I'm only saying this because they did. So he beat me to the punch on this one, letting the podcast internet world know, not just our retreat people know. But John, I do appreciate you. I am thankful for you. I think that we are a good 1-2 punch whenever it comes to all of the things that we do. And I know that we would not be where we are today without you. So I thank you for that. Listeners out there,
I'm so
again,
excited. We're all excited.
I'm so excited. So excited.
Yeah.
So excited. Cloud, if there's a cloud higher than 9, I'm there. Yeah. So again, we want to encourage you to head over to howtofilmweddings.com/mastermind, where you can, just read all the information about this. Applications are open as of right now, this very moment. We might have to cap it, which we have done in the past couple of years. So make sure you hop on, you sign up, you apply, and be one of those people that gets into Mastermind 2025. And we are looking forward to seeing you in Portland, Maine in July in person, but on our calls before that. So John, as always, it has been incredible to do this with you. Thank you for hanging out with me. Listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions or have any thoughts about Mastermind, send us a DM over on Instagram at howtofilmweddings. We are going to be in the DMs answering any questions that people might have. Yep, John, that's all I got. Thanks so much for tuning in. And until next time, we will see ya.
See ya.